And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the NBA from last night, breaking down the NBA for tonight's action, doing our moneymaker for today's NBA playoff games, and then hopefully we can get to the NFC South draft grades to finally finish it up. We were trying to do it yesterday on the show, ran out of time, classic there, but I think we should be able to squeeze in the NFC South, the Saints, Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, and grade their drafts, and then we'll finally be done with the draft, even though, you know, it's like two months removed. But so we've got that all today on the show, so let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And the first one up, baby, yes, sir, exactly 100 days until the start of the NFL season, getting kicked off with the Cowboys and Bucks on Thursday Night Football, September 9th, folks. So 100 more days, the countdown is on, 100 more shows to go before we can get into the full swing of our kind of NFL schedule, where we break down the games on Monday, cash and trash lists on Tuesday, film study Wednesdays. Folks, it's been killing me not doing those film study Wednesdays during this NBA season, but 100 more days, and we're back right on track. Thursday, guessing, predicting the lines, reacting to the lines. Friday, making our picks. Saturday, just kind of getting everything right for tomorrow, which is Sunday, and that's the game day, baby, where we recap everything and get you right up to the minute of those 1 o'clock games. So I cannot wait to get back into the full schedule, the full rhythm. And what do we got? Football for what? 5.5 months. So I cannot wait. We get an extra week this year, an extra game for everybody. Ooh, that week 18. Whoo, cannot wait for that. So 100 more days, folks. We've gotten, through a lot of it. We've gotten through the draft. We're just starting the training camp, and now we can taste it. We can almost taste it. The preseason, the training camps. Richard Sherman is still out there to get picked up. Julio Jones trade should be happening by tomorrow. So we still got a lot to talk about to get ready for this NFL season, but 100 days, folks. Let's count it down. I cannot wait, and I know y'all can't wait for it either. So 100 days, folks. 100 more days. 100 more shows. You just have to listen to us 100 more times, and you'll be fine, and we'll all be there for the NFL season. So Cowboys, Bucks kicking off Thursday Night Football. Going to be absolutely great. Obviously, the Bucks, Super Bowl defending champions. Cowboys, Dak Prescott return with the goof troop at the head coaching and defensive coordinator and the assistant of not Ben McAdoo. Who was it? I'm blanking on his name. Is it Ben McAdoo? Am I tripping? Let me see very quickly. I've got a tweet that I can reference quickly. It's Mike McCarthy, head coach, Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, and come on. Actually, I should just do it like this. Yeah, Ben McAdoo. I was right. Yeah, I mean, he's an assistant for this team. It's like, all right, if y'all want to take advice from Ben McAdoo, y'all can be my guest, but I would definitely advise against that. But we'll see how the Cowboys are looking week one when they have to face that ferocious Bucks defense that just won the Super Bowl, and they re-signed everybody, and is still probably going to be absolutely great week one. So the Cowboys are definitely going to be in for it. Oh, my God. I mean, how truly upsetting for this Cowboys team and fan base that you have to go and face the Bucks in the first game of the NFL season, but we'll see how they play out. But 100 days, folks, we are almost there. Alrighty, let's talk about it. We got Julio Jones. I'm saying that the trade is going to happen tomorrow. It's got to be after June 1st. Today is June 1st, and what's the day after June 1st? June 2nd, tomorrow, Wednesday, the date that we've been pushing, we've been saying for the last 2-3 weeks here as this Julio Jones saga has really been starting to take off. So we get an article right here, Julio Jones trade market, 5 teams that should be all in. Well, all 32 teams should theoretically be all in because, I mean, this is Julio Jones. I mean, a great wide receiver, a great, tall, deep threat wide receiver that really would improve any team that he's on. So let's see who these 5 teams that should be all in on, and then we'll update the odds a little bit. Found a new source of odds because they were the most up to date, but I don't really agree with anything they said. So we'll talk about all that. So let's get right into it with the 5 teams that should be all in. Let's see what they're saying out here. Team number 1 is the New England Patriots. Okay. I mean, we know they are the favorites of the odds of what we've seen from DraftKings being plus 450. When we look at this other website, sportsline.com, I've never heard of them, but and I've never used them, but they are the most up-to-date odds. You know, DraftKings hasn't really updated their odds. Nobody else has really updated their odds, and this was just updated yesterday. So the new odds here, according to Sportsline, it's the Titans favorites at plus 200, which is absolutely fantastic. We would love to see Julio Jones be a Titan. You know, once again, I mean, you would have to defend the pass game and the run game like you have had to have been doing these last 2 years with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis as their 2 wide receivers. Now they lose Corey Davis. They still got A.J. Brown. And then if you pair him up with Julio Jones with Derrick Henry in the backfield, I mean, we're talking about an almost unstoppable team. Ryan Tannehill just has to be an above-average game manager like he's kind of been this entire last 2 years stint with the Titans, getting to the AFC Championship game, getting to the playoffs last year. The defense definitely does need to step it up a little bit, and we know they've been kind of, you know, scheming their defense a little bit and picking up some nice pieces in the offseason. So Titans, according to the sports line, are the favorites at plus 200, and then the Patriots at plus 300, with the Seahawks also at plus 300. But what are we talking about with the Seahawks, folks? I mean, I truly do not see that happening. First of all, you've got DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is going to be Julio Jones, but better. I mean, folks, when you just look at DK Metcalf's stats, he's exactly coming out. He's only 2 years in, folks, DK Metcalf for the Seattle Seahawks, and he's following the same exact course that Julio Jones did his first 2 years. And what's better about DK Metcalf? Well, first of all, he's a lot faster. We all saw that with the chase down to the pick 6, almost should have been pick 6. Chasing DK Metcalf chasing the defender down. I think it was Budda Baker that picked off Russell Wilson basically at the goal line, and then DK Metcalf got on his horse and chased him down basically 90 yards, bringing him down like 2-3 yards short of the end zone. So DK Metcalf is a little bit faster than Julio Jones, obviously bigger. I mean, we've all seen DK Metcalf shirtless, haven't we, folks? And we know he's obviously a physical specimen and how ripped this man is. And also, he's taller than Julio Jones, 6'4". Julio Jones is 6'3", folks. But when we look at the stats of what DK Metcalf has done his first 2 years, it's exactly what Julio Jones has done his first 2 years. Year 1, rookie year for DK Metcalf, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. What did Julio Jones do his first year? 959 yards, 8 touchdowns. So 50 more yards and 1 more touchdown. That's basically the same. Catch percentage as well. DK Metcalf, his first year, not the greatest at 58%, but Julio Jones, 56% catch percentage his first rookie year. So, yes, exactly. Basically, first year, rookie year for DK Metcalf and Julio Jones, the same. And then what happened year 2? They both took that next step. Year 2 for DK Metcalf, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 64% catch percentage. What did Julio Jones do? 1,100 yards. So DK Metcalf outpaced him by 100 yards. Julio Jones had 10 touchdowns, exactly what DK Metcalf did, and Julio Jones had 61% catch percentage. So DK Metcalf actually exceeded overall what Julio Jones did his second year. So why do we really need Julio? Why do the Seahawks really need that big contract? Julio Jones is getting $15 million this year, so you're going to have to eat that contract if you get the trade, or redo the contract year 1, which I don't think Julio Jones is going to do. He wants his $15 million. We'll restructure it next year, but this year I'm getting the 15 mil. So I can't get behind the Seahawks being front runners or favorites for Julio Jones. And what would Russell Wilson say? Yes, obviously Russell Wilson would love to have another piece, but they've already got, you know, a solid core. Is it Doug Baldwin still? Am I bugging on that? Let me get that up very quickly. Their number 2 wide receiver, is it Doug Baldwin? What do we got? Tyler Lockett, that's right. Doug Baldwin was the OG for Russell Wilson, who goes way under the radar, folks. Doug Baldwin and Russell Wilson, you've got to put them at, top wide receiver quarterback combos. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, Tyler Lockett, absolutely fantastic. He had 1,000 yards last season. He's kind of your shorter, wide receiver. You got the tall, you got the shorter, speedier one. So it's a good wide receiver core for Russell Wilson. Now, obviously, you would want as many weapons as you can. So, that's why, the Seahawks would be interested in getting Julio Jones. Then you got 3 great A1 tier 1 wide receivers. But, at the end of the day, the weapons isn't really what hurt Seattle. It's the line that didn't protect him and kind of the offensive coordinator that really wasn't spicing up the offense as the season progressed. So the weapons aren't the issue here in Seattle. Fix the line, get a more kind of adaptable offensive coordinator, which they've done already, to make Russell Wilson happy. So I'm not buying that the Seahawks team is going all in here for Julio Jones, and I don't think it makes that much sense if they go out and get him. So let's go back to these odds here. We've all heard the stories about, Seattle. I mean, we talked about it on the show. It's, Seattle. They, Russell Wilson talked to him. So, of course, folks, I'm sure everybody was talking about Julio Jones, saying, hey, Julio, you want to come here and we can make something happen? I mean, that's what they all talk about, folks. That's what they all talk about. Hey, wouldn't it be great if, me, you, and you, we all got together on the same team? Yeah, that'd be crazy. And then they all leave that, that all-star game that they were talking at, and then they never talk about it again, and then they all go different ways for the money, and that's really what kind of stops super teams getting kind of together, the money. Everybody wants to get theirs. But Seahawks being at plus 300, I'm not buying it. I'm not betting it. And what I don't like about sportsline.com here, their odds, the Rams. They got the Rams at plus 1,800. I honestly believe that Julio Jones is either going to the Titans or the Rams. That's really the only 2 clear choices. They're Super Bowl ready contenders. Julio Jones can come in and be the A1 tier 1 wide receiver. He's not going to want to go to the Patriots that has Cam Newton as a quarterback. He's not going to want to go to the Seahawks where he may not even be the number 1 option. I don't know. I think I'd take the younger, healthier spring chicken of DK Metcalf over Julio Jones, folks. So, I don't think he goes to Seahawks because he's going to be lost in the crowd there. I mean, he's going to be lost in the crowd in Atlanta. Maybe a reason why he wants out this year. They just drafted Kyle Pitts. Calvin Ridley is panning out absolutely fantastically. So I just don't buy the Seahawks. It's really the Titans and the Rams, and the fact that the Rams are plus 1,800, I think it's truly disrespectful. I mean, they've got the Jaguars taking favorite odds over the Rams at plus 1,500 for him to go to the Jags. The Jags? Are you kidding me? Everything that Julio Jones has said, there is nothing that the Jaguars check their boxes in. They're not a Super Bowl contender, and Trevor Lawrence is not a proven quarterback in this league yet. So there's no reason why the Jaguars should be favorites over the Rams. The Rams are Super Bowl contenders right now, and you got Matt Stafford, one of the biggest arms in the game. And then you got Sean McVay, who, this year is riding on him to be the offensive genius that he claims to be. He finally has his great quarterback that he wants, and, so it's time to put up or shut up, and this is the year to do so with that great Rams defense. They've got the Dolphins above the Rams at plus 1,400. I don't really see that. I mean, maybe he goes to the Dolphins. Maybe he doesn't. There hasn't been a lot of chatter about that. Brian Flores isn't one to really overpay for players. And if you got Julio Jones, he cuts him next year like he's been doing the entire defense for the last 2 seasons. One and done. You get 1 year, and then you're out of here. We'll sign you big money, but you're one and done. You're out of here next year. They got Washington plus 1,300, and I'm rooting for the Washington football team this season. Don't get us wrong, but they are not even close to, once again, well, Julio Jones has told us where he wants to go, folks. We've heard it multiple times. Super Bowl contenders and a great quarterback with a great arm. He wants somebody like Dante Culpepper that can just launch the ball. Unfortunately, Taylor Heineke is not that guy, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, yeah, he slings it, but he's going to be throwing a lot of interceptions, and I don't think that's what Julio Jones wants. Oh, and not to mention, the Washington football team is nowhere close to Super Bowl contenders. They're close to win the division, like they did last year, but they're not even close to winning the NFC. I mean, it's just too much talent there, unfortunately, for this kind of under-talented. They're very well coached. We love Ron Rivera, and we do support Taylor Heineke and their young weapons, but, I mean, it's a young team, folks. The Chargers at plus 1,200, the Colts at 1,000, Packers at plus 900, Raiders at plus 700. That's something I've been hearing a lot more. The Raiders going out and get them. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Derek Carr's got the big arm, but I mean, the Raiders, I mean, do you want to be coached by John Gruden? I mean, folks, he's a great TV personality. Don't get us wrong. He was an excellent announcer for Monday Night Football. We loved it. But as a head coach, what has he proven? What has he proven? He's got a ring that a team that he didn't even build, and he's floundering in the back half of the season. So once again, the Raiders are not that Super Bowl contender that Julio Jones wants to go to. Julio Jones has gotten to a Super Bowl. He was 1 quarter away from winning a Super Bowl, getting that coveted ring that you need to have, or you're going to end up like Randy Moss. And that's another thing I want to talk about quickly before we move off of this segment is, what did Randy Moss look like when he finally went to a new team, when he went to New England, the super team that, you know, was there between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Randy Moss. Their first year, 2007, they went 16-0, folks, and they lost the Super Bowl. Truly unfortunate there, but Julio Jones, we have to talk about his age. Julio Jones is 32 years old, folks, really getting up there. When Randy Moss went to the Patriots and they went 16-0 and he had 1,400 yards and 23 touchdowns in 2007, he was 30, folks. He was 30. What happened when he was 32? It was basically his last good year. So it's really one and done here for Julio Jones. Randy Moss's last year, 32. With the Patriots, 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. Still a great year, don't get us wrong, but that was his last good, productive year. Then in 2010, when he turned 33, he played for 3 teams. Nothing good ever. He didn't even, what did he get, like 300 yards between, 393 yards between 3 teams and 5 touchdowns, and then he retired after that. So, I mean, this is literally probably the last good year of Julio Jones. He's been, you know, kind of injured these last couple of years. He hasn't played a full 16-game schedule in the last 2 years, 15 games in 2019, 9 games in 2020. So really coming to the tail end of his career, you really only got 1 more year. That's why it's got to be Super Bowl contenders this year, not next year. We're rebuilding. We're going to get it done. We're building the groundwork this year. Next year is Super Bowl contenders. No. Julio Jones is running out of time, folks. 32 years old out here. We saw Randy Moss exit the game at 33. So how much more does Julio Jones really have in the tank, especially given his a little bit of an injury history there? So a lot of kind of risk reward here for Julio Jones, and we'll see where he goes, but I just cannot see the Seahawks. I cannot see the Patriots. I really think it's coming down to the Titans or the Rams, and we'll know a lot more come tomorrow when the June 1st date has officially passed, where the Falcons can save all that money against the cap. So we'll see where he goes, but, you know, these lines right here, I don't know, Sports Line, I mean, if you can go to Sports Line, if you're somewhere, you know, in the United States that can bet online, I would go to sportsline.com and bet Rams plus 1,800, absolutely, those are great odds right there. You put $100 on that, you win $1,800, I mean, that's a pretty good investment in my opinion. I really think the Rams really should be the front runners right here. But like we said, we will know more tomorrow. And quickly, one more time before we wrap up this Julio Jones segment, let's see what these other 4 teams that are in desperate need that should go all in for Julio Jones. Let's see what we get. The Browns at number 2, Patriots at 1, the Browns at number 2. Do they really? I mean, you've got a nice kind of star-studded cast of wide receivers. OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Austin Hooper at the tight end. So there's no really great tall wide receivers. I mean, Jarvis Landry short, OBJ short. What is Rashard Higgins? Is he like 6'1"? Yeah, he's 6'1", so nobody really close to Julio Jones' height, but, I mean, they just got to the playoffs last year and went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. I mean, I don't know if really Julio Jones brings this team over the edge and they must go all in. I mean, it's the defense, it's the running game, it's the wide receivers. I mean, it's a complete team package, and once again, Julio Jones, is he going to be the favorite target, and they'd probably have to lose one of their wide receivers to really kind of fit his cap of $15 million? So I don't see this Browns, and we haven't even really talked about the Browns as kind of betting odds. Even Sportsline, who their odds are kind of trash here, they don't even have the Browns here. It ends off with the Chiefs at plus 2,000. So I don't know about the Rams or the Browns. The Colts at number 3, I would love that. I mean, giving Carson Wentz, I mean, I think they win the Super Bowl this year. Like we've said, we are big on the Colts. They are kind of our early favorites of winning the Super Bowl. And if you have, T.Y. Hilton and Julio Jones and Michael Pittman Jr., that is a wide receiver core, folks. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see him go to the Colts. Something that we haven't really heard a lot about. We've heard a lot about the Titans, the Patriots, a little bit of the Seahawks just recently, and a lot about the Rams. So, and Sportsline has the Colts at plus 1,000. I would love to see that. I mean, that if I could play, God in the NFL, I go and put Julio Jones on the Colts. That's what I would do. But we'll see where he goes. Number 4 is the 49ers. All righty, that quarterback controversy there. I don't know if Julio Jones wants to get kind of mixed up with that. And Julio Jones has played with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan blew the ring for Julio Jones, so I don't think he wants to kind of re-team back up with that, truly. And then team number 5, the Raiders. We have been, like just today, we've been hearing about a lot about the Raiders going out and getting Julio Jones. Like I said, I don't know if he wants to play with John Gruden, another garbage coach. Same thing why he wouldn't want to go to the 49ers, a garbage coach. And Kyle Shanahan, not a garbage coach, but a choke coach. He just can't get it done in the big games, and that's what wins you rings and cements your legacy. So not the greatest that you're floundering at that point. But like I said, we'll know more tomorrow on this Julio Jones saga and the trade. And, another thing that we do have to keep in mind, and we'll evaluate it once the actual trade goes down, did the Falcons do Julio Jones justice by sending him somewhere he wants to be, or are the Falcons going to be greedy and selfish and send him somewhere where the team, the organization, the Falcons are going to benefit more than the Julio Jones? Because if Julio Jones goes to the Lions, oh my God, we know that's nowhere that Julio Jones wants to go. So we'll know if the Falcons are going to treat them right as soon as the trade happens, because we know where Julio Jones wants to go. Super Bowl contenders with a good quarterback that's got a big arm. So if he goes to a place that's none of those check boxes are checked, then we know that he got kind of disrespected by the Falcons. But we'll talk about all about that once the trade actually happens. So come tomorrow, folks. I think that's when we're going to hear the news, but it's not tomorrow yet. So we'll have to wait another 24 hours before we know anything concrete about Julio Jones. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. The pressure turned up on Packers and Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers' offseason absence. And yeah, I mean, the Packers have been kind of talking that talk silently through their actions of, all right, we're kind of getting prepared to move off of Aaron Rodgers like the Packers did with Brett Favre. Let's bring in Aaron Rodgers. We'll sit him for a couple of years. I think it was like three or four seasons that they sat Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. So they were kind of doing that with Jordan Love, and now we're hearing all this about Aaron Rodgers not showing up. So, maybe Aaron Rodgers is calling the Packers bluff. Hey, I know how this works out, and I'm not dealing with it. I've seen it, and I've lived it, and I'm not going to be on the other side of it. So, yeah, definitely big pressure on this Packers team coming up this season. If, the Packers were truly kind of big on Jordan Love, maybe playing him a little bit earlier than they wanted to, but they're going to have to step up. They need to they need to prove that they can be successful without Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers is going to kind of win that mental game of, yeah, y'all wanted to get rid of me. All right, you made this bed that you have to lie in. That's not my problem. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be the franchise guy. We're getting to the NFC Championship games, but you want to not do really anything to get us past that NFC Championship game. You want to draft my replacement first round. All right, then go out and win with him. If you feel so confident about him, go win with him. Go win with him right now. So, Aaron Rodgers still has not shown up. I don't know if he's still in Hawaii or what's the deal with that, but, he's not at the team. He's not with the organization, and Jordan Love's going to have to be prepared to go. Jordan Love's got to be in that mindset right now, at least, that, hey, I'm kind of the starting quarterback. Regardless of what, Matt LaFleur and the general manager for the Packers are saying, oh, we want Aaron Rodgers back so bad. We love him. We respect him. He's the guy. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, and we would obviously definitely want him. We've got no plans of trading Aaron Rodgers or moving off of Aaron Rodgers anytime soon. So, We've got two sides here, and Jordan Love's kind of caught in the middle, but he needs to be ready. He needs to step it up, because if Jordan Love comes and flounders year one, I mean, the Packers will never hear the end of it in the media and the fans, Aaron Rodgers lovers. I mean, they're all going to be absolutely attacking the Packers organization, and I really don't know if there's any coming back from that once that kind of official narrative is out there that Jordan Love cannot play. There's really nothing that this Packers team can do, and you're really not going to find another Aaron Rodgers like that. So we'll see what happens with this Packers team. Still got, 100 days before the tip-off of the NFL season. So, Aaron Rodgers has some time. Jordan Love has some more time to get better. And the Packers have a little bit more time to really kind of figure out what the heck they're going to do if Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up like he says so. I mean, he's been telling everybody, hey, I'm not going to be there. So, if they're promising you all this and that in free agency discussions, and they're promising, you're going to be playing with Aaron Rodgers, I've got other news for you. I'm not there. I'm not there. Like Magic Johnson, I'm not gonna be there. I'm out. So Jordan Love, big pressure on this Packers team. They must, if truly Aaron Rodgers did not show up, this Packers team must be at least competitive with Jordan Love this year. Alrighty, Patrick Mahomes is kind of, he's getting a little bit too confident out here, a little bit too cocky. The head's getting a little bit big. He's the front runner. I mean, everyone's already calling this man the future GOAT. He's already, excelled and succeeded and won rings and has gotten to multiple Super Bowls. So his early career has definitely been great, kind of following the same track that, Russell Wilson has been on so far. Coming in, never having a losing season, getting to 2 Super Bowls, winning one real early on in his career, and, he hasn't been back in a couple of years, and, Patrick Mahomes could follow that same trajectory. We'll see what happens this year, but he's got 2 quotes here that I'm not the biggest fan of. So let's talk about it here. So, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, quote, "The only record I have my eyes set on breaking is going 20-0, baby. Now that the new 18-game schedule, or 18-week schedule, 17 games, you get the week if you get the highest schedule, and if you're 17-0, you're going to have that bye. And then the 3 playoff games to 2 playoff games and the Super Bowl. That gives you the extra 3 for the 20-0 season." So, this is great, having, high goals, obviously, never losing a game, that's really on everybody's mind. I mean, nobody goes into the season thinking, hey, we're going to go 9-7 this year, and that's going to be real great for us. We're going to be real, or 9-8 now. We're going to go 9-8. We're probably going to lose 8 games this season, but we're still going to be, no. I mean, everybody has, in those OTAs and training camps, and, before preseason, everyone's like, you know what, we're not going to lose a game. I mean, nobody goes into the season thinking they're going to lose games. I mean, that's kind of a loser mentality you definitely don't want. So I've got no problem with him saying that in that aspect. But, Patrick Mahomes here being kind of quoted as, the future GOAT, and now setting these big goals. And we got another story we're going to talk about right after this one about, once again, Patrick Mahomes maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew so far. But let's see what he says here in this article. So, fittingly, Mahomes' new goal is to accomplish something that neither Brady, and he got really gosh darn close. We just told you the 16-0 season with Randy Moss. Man, oh man, just losing in the Super Bowl by 3 points. I think it was 17-14 they lost. Truly unfortunate against the Giants, against Eli Manning. Ugh. I know Brady is losing sleep over that. So, fittingly, Mahomes' new goal is to accomplish something that neither Brady nor any one quarterback ever has. The 25-year-old has made all sorts of history just a few years into what's quickly shaping up to be a Hall of Fame career once again. I mean, everybody's calling him the future GOAT and Hall of Famer and all that, but let's take a little bit of a step back. I mean, we're kind of all saying this about Russell Wilson. Not as much as Patrick Mahomes. I definitely think Patrick Mahomes is definitely having a better early season, just stats-wise and just kind of play-wise, than Russell Wilson, but, that is a decent comparable comp of having real success early on in their career, and then, a couple of seasons, of never really getting to an NFC championship game or anything like that. But here we go. Where do we leave off of? He said just one feat has his attention as he prepares for the 2021 campaign, leading his team to a perfect season. Quote, "The only record I have my eyes set on breaking, which would be new this year, is going 20-0. That's not really a record to be broken, I guess you would say. But I think 19-0 is the record right now. So being able to go 20-0 to be the first one to do that, that would be awesome. And yeah, I mean, obviously that'd be awesome. I mean, everybody has their eyes set on having an undefeated season. I mean, the Steelers almost tried to do it last season, and then Big Ben's arms kind of gave up on him. But when we look at, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he does have the right to talk this talk a little bit. I'm not going to knock him. You know, I'm not knocking him or blasting him for saying this. I mean, he's definitely proven that he should be talking this talk. I mean, ever since he came into this Chiefs team, they haven't lost more than 4 games in the regular season. 2018, they went 12-4. 2019, they went 12-4. Just last year, they went 14-2. Just lost against the Raiders, and then they didn't play, you know, the last week. They didn't play all their starters. So, I mean, really only lost 2 games last year. They got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lost that game too, but real close to, you know, a perfect season. And if they beat that Raiders team early on in the season, they could have, you know, potentially been undefeated at the Super Bowl and maybe given them that maybe extra motivation to go out and win it. Or maybe it gives Tom Brady even extra more motivation to beat the person that potentially could ruin his legacy and, you know, make him look a little bad. Hey, Brady, you went undefeated in the regular season, then lost the Super Bowl. I was able to cap it off. I was able to complete the perfect season. So maybe that would have given Tom Brady a little bit more oomph to go out and win it, even though they won it already. But let's just see what quality opponents that this Chiefs team beat last season. They beat the Texans, not really a good win. The Chargers in overtime. I mean, early Justin Herbert. I mean, you shouldn't have gone to overtime with that. The Baltimore Ravens, early Lamar Jackson trying to figure it out. The Patriots with nothing, and then, you know, comes week 5 against the Raiders. That's where they lose. But then they beat the Bills, real quality win there. They beat the Broncos, the Jets, the Panthers, the Raiders. They did beat the Bucs in the regular season by 3. That's a real good quality win there. The late season Bucs. The Broncos, the Dolphins, the Saints, I'll give them a quality win there. And then the Falcons. So really, just last season, really only 3 quality wins. I mean, you're beating the Texans, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Broncos twice, the Jets, the Panthers. I mean, no really good quality competition right there. And when they have to, let's see, can I bring up their schedule for this year? I got that up. Let me see if I can bring that up very quickly. Let's see if it's even possible. I mean, is their competition even worse? I mean, is it going to be better than it was last season? Because last season, really nothing truly that difficult. I mean, you had to face the Bucs, all right, but I mean, between those games, you were facing absolute garbage. I mean, so this year for the Chiefs, I mean, if Patrick Mahomes wants to go undefeated, let's see what he has to go up against. So the Browns week 1, the Ravens, that's definitely going to be another tough game to beat. The Chargers, the Eagles, the Bills, Washington, Tennessee, the Giants, the Packers, the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Broncos. So once again, pretty much a light schedule here. Their toughest competition, the Packers, the Titans maybe. I mean, giving them the Ravens, I mean, those are just the Bills. I'll give them the Bills. So maybe 4 real tough teams, but everything else is really kind of, you know, really winnable for this Chiefs team. So once again, a really kind of easy schedule for the Chiefs. I'm kind of getting sick of that, but, you know, if you're the Chiefs fans, obviously not, but really kind of a doable schedule here to go 20-0. So we'll see how the Chiefs are performing. Do they finally take a step back? They have never done that with Patrick Mahomes as kind of the starting guy out there. So, you know, the 20-0 record is definitely breakable this year for Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team. So let's see if they go out and do it. But then we get this quote by Patrick Mahomes. Once again, his head, you know, he wants all the smoke, and I can definitely get behind that. You know, if you want to be the best, beat the best. I definitely, you know, can respect that. but maybe putting a little bit too much pressure on yourself early on because you've had early success. I mean, it's hard to maintain consistent success more than kind of 2 or 3 seasons. So this is really kind of the make it or break it year for Patrick Mahomes. Can he go kind of 4 or 5 seasons straight of just being absolutely amazing and unstoppable? So we get another quote here. Patrick Mahomes thinks Aaron Rodgers joining the AFC West team would be awesome. Quote, it would just make it a little tougher for us, but we're up for the challenge. So once again, I mean, I can respect you, wanting to have, the best competition, but I mean, you just went to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. You were never really able to beat Tom Brady. You lost to him in the AFC Championship game when he was in the AFC. He goes to the NFC. He beats you in the Super Bowl. So I would kind of tone it down. These last couple of seasons, you've really been facing a lot of lackluster opponents compared to what the Chiefs' overall roster is. And once you get to the big games against legacy quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers is still a legacy quarterback, even though he just can't win the NFC Championship game. So I don't know if this is the right thing to say out loud. You can think it, but to say this out loud and to put all this pressure and all this attention, this unwarranted, I mean, you didn't need to do this. It's like, Juju Smith-Schuster dancing on the logo before games. It's like you're really not getting anything out of it, and you're just adding more fuel to the fire for your opponents to go out and destroy you. So for that, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but let's see what this quote is. Maybe it's a little bit more clear, or maybe it's even a lot worse than we were thinking of just kind of the clickbait headline. But let's see what we get here. During his first annual 15 in the Mahomes Aloha Golf Classic, he's already got his own golf. He's even got his own golf classic so far, his own golf event. Jeez. So during his first annual 15 in Mahomes Aloha Golf Classic, I'd like to know the reason behind that name. Mahomes told Bleacher Report's Kayla Nicole, battling Rodgers twice a year would be fun. Quote, obviously it'd be awesome, Mahomes said. To have that challenge 2 times a year, every single year, would be a great opportunity. I mean, he's a heck of a football player. He's been doing it for a long time that I've watched play and learned a lot from. But definitely, if he came to the AFC West, it would just make it a little tougher for us, but we're up for the challenge. So once again, I mean, be careful what you wish for Patrick Mahomes. It's not like you went out and beat Tom Brady over and over again. And Aaron Rodgers is worse than Tom Brady. I've got no problem saying that. We just saw the NFC Championship game. I'm doubling down on my stance. Tom Brady will always be better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will never be the greatest of all time. So maybe Patrick Mahomes is like, hey, I could actually be second best. I know it's going to be hard that I just lost head-to-head to Tom Brady twice. I know Tom Brady's aging out of this league. I'm just coming in. So 10, 15, 20 years down the road when we're talking greatest quarterback of all time, it's going to be hard for me to go against Brady. But if I can go against Aaron Rodgers for these couple of seasons that Aaron Rodgers has left and I can beat him, I can definitely cement myself as number 2 greatest of all time, trying to work my way up to that number 1. So if that's what he's trying to, get to here, hinting, maybe not trying to, come out and say it, because he's not going to come out and say that he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, he's not going to say that after everything that we've seen of Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to ever say that he's not the greatest of all time. He may be, oh, I don't think about it or something like that, humbly, but he's never going to come out and say, yeah, Tom Brady will always be better than me. He beat me head-to-head. He'll never come out and say that. So if that's what his line of thinking is here, trying to get Aaron Rodgers to the AFC West so we can go out and beat him twice a year, I think Patrick Mahomes could beat Aaron Rodgers twice a year head-to-head. I think I would have no problems betting on that and really thinking and rooting for that. But maybe Patrick Mahomes getting a little bit too big for his britches here with all this kind of talk, all this big talk. And, like I said, talk your talk. I've got no problems with you talking about stuff like this. It's just now you have to back it up. You have to back it up now. That's why, maybe keep these comments to yourself, because now everybody's going to be talking about this. I'm talking about this, and it's just putting more pressure on you and putting the more spotlight from us on you as well, because we're going to be bringing up these quotes during the regular season. And, gosh forbid, Patrick Mahomes has a duck year and goes like, what, 6-11? Is that right? 17 games, 6-11. He goes 6-11. We're going to be like, didn't you want all the smoke with Aaron Rodgers? Didn't you think you could go 20-0? And now here you are floundering. Just because you had early success in this league, it's hard to maintain that. And now here you are looking like a little bit of a bozo a little bit. But he's won a Super Bowl, so I give him a lot of credit for that already. He's been to 2, so I give him a lot of credit for that already. But is he going to follow the same path that Russell Wilson has been following? Let's bring that up. When was the last time Russell Wilson has gotten like deep in the playoffs? Let me get that up real quick. I said it a couple times. Let me just double check my own narrative. Let's see. Here we go. So they got to the Super Bowl. The last time they got to the Super Bowl was 2014. Then 2015, they lost the divisional round. 2016, they lost the divisional round. 2017, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. 2018, they lost a wild card. 2019, they lost divisional. Last year, they lost wild card. So once again, Russell Wilson coming in and, going to the Super Bowl 2 times in his first 4 seasons. Pretty gosh darn good, folks. He went back-to-back to Super Bowls, only won 1, and never really was the same since. It just kind of, long playoff run. So Patrick Mahomes here, Russell Wilson is following the same trajectory. Let's tone it down a little bit, just a little bit. You can still be, great because you are still great, but these wild expectations, nobody's went 20-0. The Dolphins did it, but do I have the pillow in my room somewhere? I made a pillow in 8th grade home ec class. That's got the, I think it's 1973, but the NFL season was shorter back then. So, yeah, I would just say Patrick Mahomes, maybe tone it down a tad, because you just kind of got beat by Tom Brady here, and now you want kind of the second greatest quarterback of all time. Let's see if you can beat that head-to-head. But, he believes in himself. I guess that's a silver lining, and we'll leave it at that, I guess. So let's keep going here. Alrighty, Vikings cornerback Patrick Peterson is eager to return to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Quote, the one I circled is definitely week 2. That's not even close. So Patrick Peterson, his entire career with the Cardinals, he ends up leaving to go to the Vikings now. But, it's hard to maintain, greatest cornerback, lockdown cornerback. It's hard to do that more than, like I said, 2 or 3 seasons like Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to maintain success at the highest level, folks. It was Legion of Boom with Richard Sherman, and now look what Richard Sherman is. He doesn't even have a home, kind of aging out a little bit. Stefan Gilmore, he had a great 2019. He was Defensive Player of the Year. Took a little bit of a step back last year because, the Patriots defense wasn't all great, so they had to rely on Stefan Gilmore, and he kind of, just a little bit, he's still a great cornerback, we're not saying that, but to go from Defensive Player of the Year, and then when, everybody was opting out defensively for COVID for the Patriots, he didn't really step it up that greatly. So Patrick Peterson here, yes, once again, having this competitive edge to go and return to his former team, but, he's 30, kind of aging out of the cornerback league a little bit. Richard Sherman's 33, and he can't even get a job now. And his legendary career with the Seahawks and the Legion of Boom doesn't even get him a really spot now. We're 100 days away, like we said, away from the start of the NFL season. So Patrick Peterson, I love love that you're looking forward to going back and facing your former team and trying to beat them. But, is he gonna be that great on the Vikings when he has to kind of be the main guy? Because we know the Vikings defense wasn't that great last season. So Patrick Peterson really gonna have to be this veteran presence, this veteran leadership, and his play is definitely gonna have to speak for himself. So I love Patrick Peterson. He's one of the greatest cornerbacks to do it. I'm not going to call him top 5, but I'll put him in top 10. I think I've got no problem with that. Maybe top 15. But it is hard to maintain this high levels of success. So we'll see how he goes out and faces the Cardinals when he goes and returns to that week 2. But once again, putting a lot of pressure. And I've got no problem you talking your talk and, whatever fuels your fire and whatever motivates you, go ahead and by all means do it. But once again, putting a lot of pressure on you just because you were good and, at the top of your game for a couple of seasons. He kind of was floundering in the back half of his career with the Cardinals. That's why they, didn't re-sign him and, let him walk. So just once again, it's hard to maintain. We have to remember that. It's hard to maintain consistent levels of high success. I'm not talking about, being average. I'm talking about being in one of the top 3 in your position. It's hard to do that. Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, they are true outliers and really have kind of warped a lot of people's thinking, but we have to remember, the average length of an NFL career is like 3 years, and to be one of the top year in and year out, it's hard to do that. That's why, the Falcons made it to one Super Bowl and haven't been the same since. That's why the Rams have, went to the Super Bowl, and unfortunately for Jared Goff, has never been the same since. Same thing kind of with the 49ers. They got to the Super Bowl, kind of never been the same since, but we'll see how Patrick Peterson is playing in week 2, so we'll definitely keep a big eye on that, his return to Arizona. All right, and talking about kind of cornerbacks here that maybe have ran their course a little bit, Jets signed former 49ers defensive end Ronald Blair. Blair is reunited in New York with Jets head coach Robert Saleh. So, Ronald Blair played with Robert Saleh, or played under Robert Saleh with the 49ers for about 3 seasons. I've got it up somewhere. Hang on. Here we go. 2016 he came into the league. Robert Saleh got to the 49ers in 2017, so they played about 3 seasons together, and Robert Saleh goes out and gets him back to the Jets. Once again, Richard Sherman played under Robert Saleh for a couple of seasons, I think. Do I have that up? I think I do. Richard Sherman, he played under Robert Saleh for 3 seasons, 2018, 2019, then this season, 2020, and he still hasn't gotten a call from Robert Saleh. And we heard early on, as soon as the season ended last year, Richard Sherman's like, I'm not going to be a 49er anymore, I'm kind of out, and he was talking up the Jets. He was trying to recruit all those quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, who early on in this offseason were kind of questionable on where they were going to play. Russell Wilson is really back solidified of staying in Seattle. Deshaun Watson, that's still a big old question mark. We don't even know what's going to happen with. But, Richard Sherman not getting a call from Robert Saleh, and Robert Saleh calling these other players, hey, I'm familiar with you. Let's get you here. I want kind of players that I can trust, that I'm familiar with, because year 1, rookie head coaches, you need to start having success, or you're going to pan out like Matt Patricia. He'll never get a head coaching job ever again in this league, and if he does, it's a foolish decision, and any team that rehires Matt Patricia as a head coach should be instantly, the general manager and the owner should be forced out of their positions for that decision. So it's a little interesting here. Once again, going back to that Patrick Peterson, it's hard to maintain that high level of success. Richard Sherman can't even find a home now. He is a little older than the Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, like we said, is 30. Richard Sherman is 33, so a little bit more aging out of the league that Richard Sherman is. But still, you don't think, just that veteran presence for Richard Sherman, you don't think Robert Saleh would love to have that on the team? And it's real weird that Robert Saleh did not sign Richard Sherman to the Jets. His first time coaching, wants to have that veteran leadership in those players that he can trust, and maybe he just can't trust Richard Sherman. So not the greatest sign here for old Richie boy. Now, maybe what gives this maybe a silver lining for Richard Sherman is that they just signed him today. So maybe we're gonna start to see all these kind of free agent signings after kind of the OTAs are starting to wrap up. All right, what do we actually have? What do we actually need? So maybe this is when we start to see Richard Sherman get signed. But if we're gonna go 2-3 weeks with still Richard Sherman not signed to the Jets, it's not the greatest look for Richard Sherman. So Ronald Blair re-teaming up with Robert Saleh, and we'll see if Richard Sherman re-teams up with Robert Saleh too, but it's not looking the best for him out there. Alrighty, next story up, talking about the Saints here with Taysom Hill. So, Taysom Hill, quote, there is no replacing a Drew Brees, and absolutely not. Drew Brees was a magnificent talent, truly a pity that he only won 1 ring. Those multiple 5,000 seasons will always be cemented. Nobody will ever touch those because the era is over. The era of 16 games and 5,000 yards is over, and nobody has more than 1, and there's only I think 10 quarterbacks that have 1, and Drew Brees has 4 or 5, 5,000 yard season passing yards. Everybody else only has 1 if they have 1, and it's tough to have 1. I think Brady, does Brady even have 1? If Brady has 1, it's only 1, definitely. There's no quarterback with multiple besides Drew Brees. So that era has officially closed now, because now we're talking about an extra game. These quarterbacks are going to start getting 5,000 more yards a little bit more regular. It's still going to be a great achievement. It's still a great feat, but it is going to be a little bit watered down. So, yes, there's definitely no more replacing Drew Brees. He is cemented as forever the greatest 5,000-yard passer in NFL history. So, congratulations to Drew Brees on that. But let's see what Taysom Hill is saying in this article right here. Let's see if we get any more context to this quote. And let's see how he's kind of doing in, we know, the quarterback duel going on between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston for the starting quarterback job. So, Hill told Rod Walker of New Orleans Advocate that he's gearing up to win the gig, but knows there is no stepping right into Brees' big shoes. I mean, huge shoes to fill. Big old clown shoes to fill. All right, quote, I think the thing I realized first and foremost is there is no replacing a Drew Brees. And that's definitely a mindset you have to be in. You can't have the mindset of, all right, I got to do exactly what Drew Brees says. No. Just go out and be your own guy. We already liked you of what we've seen in that short sample size from him last season. So we know he can go out and play and make all the throws. He just can't kind of replicate his game over Drew Brees. Be Taysom Hill. Be the new Drew Brees. Be the next Drew Brees of New Orleans. So I like that quote right off the rip. Back to the quotes here. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Absolutely. But I think as I get ready to enter the NFL, my goal and my mindset was just to do everything I can to have an opportunity to be a guy, because there are only 32 starters in the NFL. So as I look forward into this year in training camp and OTAs in the season, I'm really just excited about having that opportunity. That has been the goal and the mindset since I was a rookie in 2017, first entering the NFL. So it's definitely something that I'm not taking lightly, and I'm going to give it everything I got. And that's a great quote here. We've got Jameis Winston, who came in, was a starter, was kind of really hit and miss. He has the arm and has the touchdowns. Nobody's denying that, but it never translated to wins, because for every touchdown, he had an interception. Just as good as those touchdowns were looking, there were some bad interceptions. The 30 for 30 season, something that is truly wild to even think about. So we get Taysom Hill in this mindset of, hey, I didn't come in, with the surefire starting job. I wasn't even a quarterback, and I'm still a quarterback. So I was just trying to do whatever I could, wherever you needed me, wherever I fit in, whatever I could do for the team to help it out, just to be a starter for this opportunity. Because I knew Drew Brees wasn't going to be here forever, and I knew that I'm still a quarterback at heart, and we're going to get to that quote in a second. But I just wanted to be a guy on this team. I've done that, so now that I have proven I can do that, I can go out and try to fill the shoes of Drew Brees here, because they need a starting quarterback now. So let's keep going here with this article. I believe there's another quote I want to get to. The 30-year-old, and he is 30, so those longevity stats that Drew Brees has, he's never going to be able to chase that, so you're already kind of years behind in that kind of yards and progress, so he has to kind of just be his own new player now. The 30-year-old noted that after growing up always playing quarterback, he believes that learning those other roles will prove more difficult than transitioning back to quarterback. Hill added that focusing solely on being a signal caller will be a big boon in his quest to replace Brees after years of being in multiple position meetings. Quote, yeah, it's nice, Hill said, of focusing on being a quarterback. Quote, look, at the end of the day, and when I first got here and I started doing all this stuff, the answer when I was asked, hey, what's the end goal for you, has always been to play quarterback. So, he's not a gadget guy. He was just doing that because, he's not, you're always going to take Drew Brees over Taysom Hill. That's always forever going to be the case. So wherever he could fit in to get that opportunity to start building some repertoire with the squad, with the team, with the coaches and all that, that's why he was at the quarterback position. But don't make no mistake about it. He is a quarterback, folks. I'm a quarterback at heart, and that's my mindset. That is really nice when I can tailor all of my offseason program on being as good of a quarterback as I could possibly be. So we saw him last season, real solid. I think let's get his official stats up so I don't have to try and recall. But I think he went I think he played 4 games and he went 3-1. Let's get that up really quickly. All right, Taysom Hill here. Last season, he started 8 games, and hang on, let me get to the game logs. All right, he started 8 games and went You get a win here? All right, here we go. All right, so started week 10, game 10 against Atlanta, got the win. Played the next game against Denver, got the win. Played the next game against Atlanta, got the win. And then he got the loss, his last start against Philadelphia, but still only lost by 3 points. So it was still in that game. But, 3-1 in his kind of 4 official full game starts for him. And, pretty solid workout here. 78% completion percentage, 56 game number 2. Not the best game, but he still pulled out a win and still put up 31 points, even though he threw for only 78 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. So just being the game manager. Game 2, 72% completion, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. His last game that he lost, 73% completion percentage, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. So he was looking real good, and that's while him being in the tight end meeting room and these all their skill position meeting rooms that we just referenced in the article. So now that he can kind of focus this entire OTAs, this offseason, the training camps as a pure quarterback, what we just saw what he did when he was kind of, 50-50 in and out of a quarterback, he went 3-1. It was looking real solid out there. 70% completion percentage, 3 out of those 4 games. Give me that. Give me that all day. And that's with him splitting his mind in half between a quarterback and a gadget guy. So now he's got 100% mental capacity on being a quarterback. What can this man do? Probably very, very good. So I cannot wait to see what Taysom Hill is doing here for the Saints team. And Jameis Winston, it's going to be a good quarterback battle. I'm a little upset I can't be there every single practice to see how they're both faring throughout this offseason for the next 100 days before the NFL season officially kicks off. But yeah, this man could be dangerous, folks. This Taysom Hill could be real lethal as a dual threat quarterback. We know he has the speed. We saw him really kind of make all the throws already in those 4 games that we saw him last year. So watch out for Taysom Hill. A full, clean mind in this offseason of being a starting quarterback. The sky's the limit for this man. So watch out for Taysom Hill this year, and I think he can win that starting job. So we'll see. Alrighty, let's go on to another quarterback going into his second year here. Joe Burrow wants the Bengals offense to be, quote, more explosive down the field in 2021. Alrighty, well, they definitely have the weapons to do that. Here we go. You got Tyler Boyd, who is 6'2". He caught 841 yards last season. You bring in Jamar Chase, the rookie. We know he's not the tallest, but he's 6 foot and has got some great speed to get behind the defense to take the top off the defense for those long balls. And then you got T. Higgins, who is 6'4", who caught 900 yards. So you definitely have the pieces to have a deep ball offense next season. This season coming up. So let's see what this article is all about here for Joey B coming off the injury, going into his second year, wanting to be better on the deep ball. So discussing his return to action with Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, Burrow said one area he needs to improve in year 2 is his deep ball accuracy to create more explosive plays. Quote, there was some good and some bad from 2020. I like to be more explosive, and I think I was really good in quick game situations. On 4th down, we were really good. Empty, we were really good. But we need to be more explosive with play action passes. All of our downfield passing games needs to improve. All right, and get ready for this, because this is exactly what he means by being better at the downfield throwing. So here we go. Burrow completed just 9 of 46 pass attempts of 20-plus air yards in 2020 for 293 yards and 1 touchdown. That is not good. 9 of 46 on balls more than 20 yards in the air. Ooh, it's 19.6 completion percentage, folks. That's absolutely atrocious. So absolutely, he definitely needs to be better on the deep ball. This is something that we definitely need to track. He's got the weapons to do so, but we need him to get better. And we know we give rookies. Justin Herbert just had an outlier year of how great he was. But, Joe Burrow, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. But, coming off the injury and then trying to kind of tackle this issue as well, it may be a little bit too much for him in year 2. Maybe we have to start realistically adjusting him to maybe a year 3 leap like we saw with Josh Allen. Not good year 1, not good year 2, great year 3. Daniel Jones, not really that great year 1, really took that step year 2, but really we're looking for a breakout season year 3. So maybe we have to start tempering our expectations on Joe Burrow just a little bit here, that he's really not going to make that next leap year 2. It's realistically looking at year 3, because, I mean, to come off this injury and then try to do better than 19.6% completion percentage on 20-yard throws, it's a hard feat to overcome all this kind of coming together. So, another quote here, I just wasn't accurate as I was the year before at LSU down the field. Well, of course, college defenses don't play defense. So, once again, I mean, we see all this hate for Tua, but his accuracy was absolutely fantastic. It was just the wide receivers that were the knock and the play calling that was the knock. Joey B is out here throwing 9 of 46 on 20-plus air yards, and, you know, everybody's still praising him as, you know, better than Tua and still going to have a better year. So, that's all relaxed. I don't understand where all this Tua slander is coming from. And I don't like it, and I don't respect it, and I do not agree with any of it. But, you know, we get stats here of Joey B absolutely trash downfield, and everyone's like, yeah, this man's going to be fantastic and fine. Is the next Tom Brady. Let's relax a little bit on all this, folks. So I just wasn't accurate as I was the year before at LSU. How funny is that to say? Of course, folks, we saw what Mac Jones was at Alabama. Everybody was wide open, so he's not going to be good in this league, Mac Jones. So real funny quote here. I just wasn't accurate as I was the year before at LSU down the field. How funny to say. And that was, and quote, and that was frustrating to me because I've always been a good down the field thrower. Yes, in college, the NFL is the next step. Does he not realize? I mean, your competition is getting harder. You're facing grown men and not garbage defenses that maybe have one good player on their entire 175 roster that they can have. Nobody can have their number to themselves because there's so many players on the team that people are sharing numbers. So Joe Burrow, you were really frustrated because you didn't think you were going to come in year 1 and be great throwing the ball down the field. It's tighter windows, it's tighter coverage, it's better defenders out there. Not everything is 20 to 15 yards wide open down the field. So I don't like this quote from this man. It was just kind of what his thinking was coming into the season. I'm all for, you know, buying into yourself and thinking what you can do, but this quote of, you know, saying that it was frustrating because you couldn't replicate what you did at LSU year 1 in the NFL, I don't know about that. Just getting back to the basics of that, really focusing on my fundamentals. I just started running and throwing a few weeks ago. That's not good. Just coming back off that injury, he just started to throw and run a couple weeks ago. Once again, I mean, this year too, we really have to start tempering our expectations for Joey B in year 2. I just started running and throwing a few weeks ago, so standing and throwing and focusing on the fundamentals helps. So he's got the weapons to go downfield, but we need Joe Burrow to step it up a little bit come next season. And I don't know, man. I don't think we can start buying into Joe Burrow here year 2. But we'll see how he's looking, how he comes off the injury, how he's looking week 1, seeing if he's progressing, if he's regressing, and seeing how this deep ball is looking. Because 9 of 40, what do we say? 9 of 41, 9 of 46, absolutely atrocious. Jeez. Alrighty, let's head into some NBA stories. Here we go. Anthony Davis is unlikely to play today, folks. So that's going to be a huge knock, and I think we're automatically going to be taking the points or swallowing the points, whatever this line is, and it will be truly kind of disrespect to the Suns team if they are kind of underdogs at home here. If they get plus points here, we'll gobble that up all day. That's going to be great value. If the Suns get any type of points tonight, that's going to be absolutely great value here. But, yeah, Anthony Davis unlikely to play, and then it's just LeBron James. How much can he handle on this kind of lackluster supporting cast of the Lakers? Because with no Anthony Davis, we got to rely on Andre Drummond more. We got to rely on Kyle Kuzma more. You got to rely on Dennis Schroeder more, and we know that Chris Paul can lock him up. So it's not looking good, and LeBron's going to have to drop. He's going to have to be on his Jason Tatum, dropping 40 to 50 points every single game if they want a chance to win without Anthony Davis. So we'll see what the line is in a couple of minutes when we get to that segment. But yeah, no Anthony Davis most likely, so we'll take those points with or we'll swallow the points. We'll take the points whatever the line is with the Suns. Alrighty, another day and another fan going absolutely wild. Why are fans going wild now, folks? Now, this is no assault, so it's a little bit better than what we've been seeing of the water bottle and What else? The spit, the water bottle, the spit, the popcorn. People just love throwing things. Bodily fluids, food, it doesn't matter. Drinks, food, drinks, bodily fluids. Let's all relax on throwing that stuff at players. I mean, you wouldn't do that in real life, so why are you doing that to athletes that you paid to watch? And now you're banned for the stadium for life. How clownish. But this time, a fan runs onto the court, and he gets tackled by security. So a fan is running onto the court during play. I mean, they're running back down the floor, folks. This man is just absolutely wilding. He just wanted to see if he could touch net, but I think the real funny thing is here, and we're going to break it down kind of frame by frame here. I don't even think he touched. I mean, he just ran onto the court to, like, jump at the bucket, and I don't even think he gets close to the net. So let's see how high up he gets here. He touches the bottom of the backboard. Not bad, but I mean, that's what you went for? I mean, that was your big, glorious moment to go out and on the floor while play is happening to touch the bottom of the backboard? At least try to go for the dunk. Let me see if you can touch rim, and then maybe you can get signed. Maybe this would be all worth it, you getting arrested and tackled by the security guard. If you could touch the net, or if you could touch the rim, maybe a scout is like, okay, this man can jump. Maybe he can play basketball. Maybe we can sign him. But you touch the bottom of the backboard, that's not impressive anybody. I could do that. I can almost dunk, almost. But yeah, I mean, this man just risks it all to touch the bottom of the backboard, and then security tackles him, and then he kind of, gives up, gives up. All right, I'm getting arrested. That's fine. I'm not trying to resist. I just wanted to touch the bottom of the backboard for some reason. So hope it was worth it. But fans, can we all just relax a little bit? I mean, why do you have to just kind of go wild, like truly go wild with the spitting and the throwing and the walking on the court? I mean, we haven't really seen that in the NBA. We get that in football and definitely a lot in baseball, going on the field, but we never really got that in the NBA going on the court like that. So fans have just been locked up and cooped up so long during this COVID year, and they are just acting fools out here. So let's all try to get it together a little bit out here. And if you're going to go on the court, at least try to dunk. Bring your own ball and try to dunk. Do something impressive, not touch the bottom of the backboard. Alrighty, the last thing to talk about here, and then we'll move on to the NBA from last night. A lot of people are taking this kind of Kyrie stomping on the logo a little bit too far. We just, I don't care if you dance on the logo like Juju Smith-Schuster did. I don't care if you stomp on the logo. I think it's playful disrespect. I don't really think, we need to be talking like what we're going to get to in a second. But the only reason that we had a problem with Kyrie Irving doing it the other night is because he always plays the victim, and then, he's woe is me, like I never do anything wrong. Well, it's like, you're adding fuel to the fire during all this, so you're kind of asking for the comments and the disrespect by the fans, playful disrespect, not the water bottle. That is never warranted. That is nothing that we're endorsing, but the comments of, how, Kyrie Irving's not a leader, that we say a lot, how, he's just a bad teammate and all this. The words we're fine with, not the racial slurs, obviously, but, saying that he's trash and all this, he's asking for it while he's doing this. So you can't have it both ways, oh, I don't want to go to the media because they're going to ask me questions on this, and, it's unfair that they're targeting me with these questions. Well, it's like, no, you are still adding fuel to the fire here, stomping on their logo after a win. It's a little unnecessary, and like I said, I've got no problem with it, but we have a problem with it because you're acting like, hey, I never do anything wrong, and then you go and complain and get fined because you didn't show up to the media, and then when you have to show up to the media because you don't want to get fined anymore. It's like, oh, I don't understand why they keep doing this to me, I'm the victim here, I'm always the victim. It's like, let's look at what you're doing and your actions a little bit and see if you could do anything differently. Not stomping on the logo. Now nobody's talking about it. But once again, this Kyrie Irving story gets blown up because it's Kyrie Irving and he never does anything wrong. But Glenn Davis goes to Twitter and says, real bullshit. Like I said, you step on Lucky. That's the logo, the leprechaun. You step on Lucky. You step on everybody that played for that team. No, what? Why are we taking this like so to heart, so deep? What is that about? Keep the shit basketball before somebody get hurt in real life? What? You're really putting that much stake into the logo, saying, if you step on that, you're disrespecting everybody that's ever played for that team? Keep the shit basketball before somebody gets hurt in real life? You're ready to choose violence because somebody stepped on a logo to disrespect you? What is that thinking? I can't get behind that. So people are taking this way too far here. And then Kevin Durant comments, and he's got a point here, just crying, laughing emoji, and then has some words at the end that I cannot say. But just like that, that's like, what? What are you talking about, dude? What? First of all, you're not even in the league anymore, so why don't you stop? Because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're putting this much stake into the logo that you're ready to assault somebody physically because they disrespected the logo. That's the competitiveness, the competition, playful disrespect, not taking it out of the realm of basketball. That's still basketball. It's the court. They're running up and down. They're stepping on the logo just because he came and did a little extra stomp at the end of the game. They're disrespecting everybody. He's disrespecting Larry Bird by doing that. What sense does that make? So, this entire Kyrie Irving situation, folks, it's truly frustrating. And then wait for next week or a couple weeks where, where he actually comments about it and, is like, yeah, I mean, they're all attacking me now. And you see, everybody always attacks me. I'm the only one that gets attacked here. And it's just like, all right, Kyrie, whatever you say, Kyrie, truly. So we'll see what's up tonight. What fan is going to go crazy tonight? We're hopefully none, but, it's like literally the last 4 or 5 days in the NBA, somebody's going absolutely nuts on something. So we'll see what's up tonight. Hopefully nothing. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we needed to cover for today, so let's head over to the NBA. We'll break down the games from last night. We'll do our moneymaker for tonight's section, and I don't even know if we're going to get to the draft grades. We'll try, folks. I'm trying out here. There's just a lot to talk about. I don't know what you want from me. So we'll see if we can finally fit in the last division for the draft grades, the NFC South. So we'll see how far we get here today. But it's live, folks. You never know what's going to happen. Isn't that the good part of the show? No? Alrighty. Here we go. First game up. 76ers and the Wizards from last night, and the Wizards extend the series. So the Heat are kind of looking like a little bit of clowns out here because they're the only team to get swept. No other team can get swept. Every team has at least won one game, and the Heat and the Bucks were the only team to do a sweep. So very well done to the Bucks. We have them being the NBA champions, and that gives us a little bit of validation so far, so we'll take that. But the Heat, not the best look for them, getting to the finals in the bubble and then getting swept. I mean, the Wizards didn't get swept, but there is some context to take to this Wizards game, so let's get into this. Joel Embiid only played 11 minutes. Unfortunate. And, hopefully this isn't going to be a big injury. Hopefully it's just, all right, a precaution. We're up 3-0. We can kind of afford to lose this game on the road. We can't afford to lose Joel Embiid for the rest of the playoffs, so we're not going to win the ring. No chance if we don't have Joel Embiid. So let's just take it very, very slow with him. So the 76ers didn't really have Joel Embiid for the entire game, and the Wizards took advantage. And they ended up winning 122-114. Now, what else did the Wizards do last night? Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup, exactly what we've been calling for. After game one, we would have put Daniel Gafford in that starting lineup. Finally, he gets out there, and he plays absolutely well. Not only did they play Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup for 25 minutes, they also played Alex Len for only a minute off the bench and gave Robin Lopez those extra minutes. So that's fantastic. Alex Len cannot play. Live and die by Daniel Gafford and Robert Lopez off the bench. That's how I would do it, and the Wizards did that, so absolutely fantastic. Now, let's say this as well, that Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup in the first quarter got into foul trouble real early on, so he couldn't really go against Joel Embiid, and they were kind of losing in that first quarter. So it's a lot of context in this game, but at the end of the day, the Wizards pull it out. So we give a lot of credit to this Wizards team. Bradley Beal was on fire. So let's go over this Wizards team first. Russell Westbrook, he put up 19 points, not efficient at all. He got to the line 16 times. That's where basically all of his points came from because he shot 15% on 19 shots. Absolutely garbage. 0-4 from the three as well. But 19 points from the free throw line, 14 assists, 21 rebounds. Absolutely what he does. He had 4 turnovers this game. Kind of, what we're willing to give him. Bradley Beal, 27 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. He shot 2 of 5 from 3, hitting some nice clutch shots when they were down to really reclaim the lead and all that. So well done to that. Daniel Gafford at the starting 5, 12 points, 4 rebounds. He's a +9 on the floor. Love seeing that. Rui Hachimura, some big shots as well. 20 points on 66% shooting from the field. 3 of 6 from 3. Clutch shots. 13 rebounds to go along with that. And then Davis Bertans, 15 points, 4 rebounds. He shot 3 of 6 from the 3, 4 of 7 overall from the field, so not a bad job here by the starters. And they got some great contribution off the bench. Like we said, Robin Lopez, without Joel Embiid, he's free to do whatever he wants. 16 points, 5 rebounds off the bench, and he shot 72% in 18 minutes, so absolutely fantastic there. And Raul Neto off the bench, 11 points, 3 rebounds on 50% shooting. So the shooting was pretty solid here for the Wizards, except for Russell Westbrook. But we'll see what's going on with Joel Embiid, because if Joel Embiid's back, I still can't see the Wizards team winning, even though they have Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup. I still give it to the 76ers. So hopefully this injury for Joel Embiid, which I believe is a right knee something. Let me see if I can bring it up quickly. Davis Bertans is out 4 to 6 weeks, so that's not great. He's probably their 3rd best scorer, shooter of the basketball. Russ, Beal, Bertans, so they're definitely going to be missing that as well. All right, where's we don't get any information on Joel Embiid. Just a little bit of a knee injury. So what do we got? Yeah, just a knee. So not the best when you're a center and you rely on the knees. But yeah, hopefully it's nothing too bad for Joel Embiid here, and we'll know when they play again. But let's talk about the 76ers team now. Ben Simmons, a little bit of a liability. He shot 5 of 11 from the free throw line. Jeez Louise, come on, Ben. They were doing Hacka Simmons, how they did Hacka Jordan during those Clippers Lob City days, and that's really why they never won a ring, because in the playoffs they were just hacking DeAndre Jordan, and they would literally lose the game because of that. They did the same thing with Ben Simmons last night, and it ended up getting them the win. So I respect it. I don't like it. I think it's a lame thing to do, but if you're trying to win, hey, go out and do it. I've got no problem with it. But Ben Simmons, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 5 of 11 from the free throw line. Only took 5 shots all game, and he hit 4 of them. But that free throw line, what the hell, man? Truly losing them the game last night. Seth Curry, 10 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 0-4 from the 3. Gotta extend the floor from the 3, man. Seth Curry, that's all you're there to do. You're the 4th option. Hit the 3, please. Joel Embiid, 8 points, 6 rebounds in only the 11 minutes that he played. Tobias Harris, leading scorer of the squad. We can always rely on that, man. 21 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. He didn't shoot well, 1 of 5 from the 3, 33% on 24 shots, but he was still able to score some points out there. Nobody else could, so I'll give him a little credit. And then Danny Green, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 of 8 from the 3. Just all right there. Nothing spectacular. Can never count on Danny Green or Seth Curry to step it up. I mean, without Joel Embiid, can somebody please step it up offensively? And nobody did. You know who did? Tyrese Maxey off the bench. I give that man respect. He played absolutely well last night. Off the bench, 15 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound. He shot 2 of 3 from the 3, 50% on 12 shots. So I'll give it up for him. He took the second most shots in the game. Tobias Harris, number 1, and then Tyrese Maxey, number 2, because somebody's got to shoot the ball here, and we know Danny Green and Seth Curry never truly step it up here, and that's really where the 76ers team will unravel. If Joel Embiid is out big time, there's no way they win the ring, because nobody ever steps up besides Tobias Harris, and he's always consistent. All right, George Hill also off the bench, 14 points. He shot 3 of 5 from 3. He had a great night, a +2 on the floor in a loss. We'll give him that. Matisse Thybulle, 8 points in only 15 minutes. He shot 2 of 5 from the 3. So, and then Furkan Korkmaz only playing 11 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds. And Dwight Howard, I was real interested that he didn't play a lot more minutes without Joel Embiid. He only played 13 minutes and only had 4 rebounds. So a little bit of a flounder from Dwight Howard, which we aren't really too used to seeing off the bench. So just unfortunately, Joel Embiid, he's the lifeblood of this team, and without him, they can't do anything. So well done for the Wizards extending the series. I think they don't really do anything more in this series, but they go back to the 76ers with a chance, and that's all you need in this league. One chance, and with the heart and soul that Russell Westbrook provides every day, every game, that's all you need is a chance with him. So we'll see how they fare in Game 5. We'll see what's going on with Joel Embiid. But, yeah, the 76ers could be in trouble if this Joel Embiid injury is serious. I don't think it is, and I hope it's not, but we'll see. All right, and that leads us to the last game of last night, the Jazz and the Grizzlies. And once again, man, I don't like to complain about officiating. I truly don't, but this Grizzlies series is it's hard for me to even watch, folks. Truly, I cannot get behind the calls that they are calling here. Dillon Brooks was once again in foul trouble the entire game. And I know he played a lot of minutes. He played 37 minutes, and he only had 4 fouls. But at the end of the first half, he could barely play because he already had 3. And then he picked up the early fourth and the early third quarter, once again, limiting his play style. We know he's an aggressive defender, but, if you're playing with 4 or 5 fouls, you really can't be that aggressive. And that's really just the essence of what is going on. Once again, Dillon Brooks a +2 in the plus-minus. All the other starters in minus territory. And that's, when we talk about the conspiracy of refs rigging games and the NBA rigging games, when we're talking all this, and people are like, well, there's no fouls like every second, they're just blowing one whistle here, one whistle there. But that's how you can control the game. Take the best defender and have him not be able to play that good defense because he's in foul trouble. That's how you control the game. You don't have to make it obvious. It doesn't need to be that's why it is kind of a conspiracy. If you're going to go down that road, it's like, oh, well, it's not blatant. Well, of course it's not. It doesn't need to be. One foul here on the right person at the right time. That's all it needs to be to change the entire outcourse of the game. And I'm not saying that happens. I'm just saying, it's a thought out there. It is a narrative that has some validity. We've all kind of seen it, and when we all see it, it's like, oh, they're rigging the game. I don't truly believe it, but I believe there is some credence to that narrative. And I also don't like to go down that road because it's like, at the end of the day, you still got to make the shots. You still got to do your thing. But with all that being said, do not like the officiating out here for this Grizzlies team. And I really think, this Grizzlies team, folks, they go toe-to-toe with the Jazz, folks. They match up absolutely perfectly. And this Grizzlies team, they just get behind early on, and they're always playing from behind. Once again, the foul calls of just kind of calling it a little early on in the game, getting them down, because that's the thing that has hurt this Grizzlies team this entire series. They go down big, like 10-plus points, and then they're working the entire game to get back to even. And then when they get even, they flounder because they're like, all right, we haven't been in this situation, and they just can't clutch it up. This is a young team. Ja Morant's like 21, folks. This is a new young team here for the Grizzlies, and they just don't know how to be that clutch down the stretch. So we've seen it the last 2 games. They get down big, 10 points. They work their way up. They tie it up, or like a 1-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then the Jazz 3-point shooting opens it right back up to 10 points, and it's a double-digit loss. They lose by double digits, only by 7 last night, so solid. But that's the thing about this Grizzlies team, and it's killing me to watch because this is a real good, solid Grizzlies team, and I would love to see them be, tied 2-2, up 3-1 against this Jazz team. But like I said, the calls on Dillon Brooks are truly hurting this Grizzlies team. But let's start with the Jazz. Their 3-point shooting, they're so freaking deep. It's a little unfair. Everybody wants to talk about the Nets on their super team just because they've got the superstars. But man, oh man, this Jazz team is deep, and they can all hit threes, and it's real freaking scary because it's dangerous. It's truly dangerous. So let's talk about this Jazz team first. Mike Connolly, 11 points, 7 assists. He shot 3 of 4 from the 3, hitting those lethal threes, and the 3-pointers were a huge momentum killer every time this Grizzlies tries to get back in the game. And that's why I don't want to kind of, the refs are deciding the game, because the Jazz are going out, extinguishing all these runs on threes. What'd they shoot from the 3 last night? 17. They shot 17 of 34 from the 3, folks. 50% as a team at the 3 line and hitting 17. Fantastic work. So that's why I'm not, going down that narrative of, oh, the refs are rigging the game. No, the Jazz are still winning. It's just, it would have been a little bit more competitive throughout. But very well done for the Jazz last night. Mike Connolly, like we said, 3 of 4 from the 3. Donovan Mitchell, 30 points, 8 assists. He shot 2 of 7 from the 3. Not the greatest there, but still able to put up the 30 points, so dangerous there. Rudy Gobert, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Royce O'Neal, 9 points on 3 of 5 from the 3. Bojan Bogdanovic, we can always rely on him. 13 points, 3 of 5 from the 3. So all the starters were basically banging home those threes. And then, obviously they got the 6th man of the year, Jordan Clarkson, 24 points. He took 18 shots, the second most on the team, and he only played 21 minutes. How funny is that? That once again, we don't love Jordan Clarkson for 6th man of the year just because he takes the shots. He takes 18 shots. That's why he puts up the points. That's why he has the stats. But Jordan Clarkson, 24 points, 4 of 9 from 3, 6 rebounds to go along with that. So who else? Georges Niang, also off the bench, 6 points in only 12 minutes, but he hit 2 of 2 from the 3. I mean, this man's a great bench player for this Jazz team. So the threes were on point last night. The Jazz were able to extinguish all those great defensive runs, the stops by the stops that the Grizzlies were getting, converting those to points, and the Jazz were able to stop that with those 3-point barrages. So I give credit to this Jazz team, but man, oh man, the Grizzlies, they are so close. They're so close. All right, let's talk about this Grizzlies team now. Ja Morant, once again, not the most efficient, a little bit better than I think in Game 3 overall in winning with scoring, getting out to a nice early start, but just couldn't really maintain it for the entire game. But he put up 23 points and 12 rebounds. I'll give him that. Absolutely. 23 points and 12 assists. I meant 6 rebounds. He shot 1 of 7 from 3. Once again, that's killing this Grizzlies team. I mean, they only hit 10 threes and they shot 28% on 35 threes. So they both took the same amount of threes. One shot 28%, one shot 50. That's basically the game right there. So this Grizzlies team, they just do not have those good three-point shooters. Grayson Allen is pretty solid off the bench. He's had a couple of good shots this series. Unfortunately, floundered a little bit last night. We'll talk about him when we get down to the bench. But Ja Morant, 1 of 7 from the 3, 38% on 21 shots. Just needed to be a little bit more efficient out there. Dillon Brooks, 21 points. He didn't hit a 3, 0 of 1 from the 3, but a +2 on the floor. Ja Morant was a -9. Jonas Valanciunas is a -1. Jaren Jackson's a -3. Kyle Anderson's a -3. So once again, I mean, Dillon Brooks, that great defensive energy. When they're calling those ticky-tack calls, I don't love it at all. But Dillon Brooks, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 46% on 15 shots. Not terrible. Jonas Valanciunas, 14 points, 12 rebounds. Real solid work out there last night against Gobert. Jaren Jackson Jr., 21 points, 6 rebounds, but he shot 3 of 10 from the 3. Could have been a lot more better. And then Kyle Anderson, 4 points on 28% shooting. I mean, they just don't have those natural outside shooters. It's a lot. Everything's real close to the basket for this team, and it's decent. It's decent to defend because they've got the defensive player of the year, most likely Rudy Gobert, down low, so it's hard. And then you've got Royce O'Neal down low, that beef down low. You've got Georges Niang coming off the bench with that beef down low as well. So the Grizzlies, they need that outside shooting to open up the floor a little bit. And I don't know what they can do because they got Grayson Allen off the bench, 8 points on 2 of 7 from the 3. Desmond Bane, 7 points, and he shot 100%. That was fantastic. DeAnthony Melton, 15 points on 3 of 6 from 3. We just need those starters to get it done. Ja Morant, please hit the 3. Jaren Jackson Jr., please hit the 3. Dillon Brooks, what is he averaging? What is his points averaging in the regular season? He's averaging 17 points a game, which is solid. Would like to see him. What is his threes? What's his 3-point percentage like? Alrighty, this year from 3, he's shooting 34% from the 3, so I mean that's above average. Average is like 33%, so just right there. So I mean, just in his career, 35%, 37%, 35%. So he can hit the 3. Just need him to take more shots, but he can't take shots if he can't be aggressive and if he's not on the floor. So Dillon Brooks is the key in the series, and I think the refs are kind of locking him away a little bit. All right. So that was all the basketball from last night. Let's see what we've got on tap for today. 3 games on. Unfortunately, another game on NBA TV. How lame. All playoff games should have their own designated time slot. If that means playing 2 games a night only, so be it. But the Blazers getting stuck on NBA TV, I mean, getting disrespected. I mean, you're not putting the Lakers on NBA TV. You're not putting the Clippers on NBA TV. You're not going to put the Nets on NBA TV. You put the Grizzlies on NBA TV. You put the Nuggets on NBA TV. And, you're missing good play out here. Nobody talks about the Grizzlies, and this is a real solid, good team out here, folks. This Grizzlies team honestly could run the gauntlet and make it to the finals. Honestly. They honestly could. That starting lineup is solid enough to do so defensively. Obviously, the offense needs a little bit of work, but, if they get hot a series, they could honestly get there. But, they're the 9th seed. They put them on NBA TV. Nobody wants to watch it. I want to watch it. Me, I'm a fan. Just because y'all don't talk about them in the media doesn't mean they're not good. So the Nuggets get stuck on NBA TV tonight. How truly unfortunate. So we got Celtics Nets at 7:30. Blazers Nuggets 9 o'clock on NBA TV. And Lakers Suns 10 o'clock on TNT. So let's get these lines up to date. Let's get our moneymaker going. We hit the Grizzlies plus 5.5. That didn't hit. They lost by 7. And the 76ers minus 8.5. They didn't even win. So a big old swing and a miss yesterday. But hey, you learn, and we're going to hit it tonight. So why hit, a little bit of a 2-teamer when we can hit the 3-teamer the next night? Right? Come on, guys. So here we go. Whoa, man. Wow. Okay. Vegas is truly stepping up their spread game here. First game up, Celtics Nets. Celtics plus 12.5. Nets minus 12.5 at home back in Brooklyn. Alrighty, here we go. For the Celtics, Kemba Walker is a game-time decision, and so is Robert Williams. We need both of them to play if they want a chance to win. Let's see if we can refresh NBA Fantasy Labs and see if we get anything clear on these two players. Does not seem like we have any more information. Kemba Walker is doubtful for Tuesday. Robert Williams is doubtful for Tuesday. So we're going to assume these game time decisions are going to be out. So no Kemba Walker, no Robert Williams. So of course we have to take the Nets minus 12.5. That's nothing. There's Robert Williams is, a solid big out there. Tristan Thompson has been playing well this season, so I won't call Robert Williams the best big, but he's a solid relief big for the bench, and really their only other big that they have. And Kemba Walker, he's the floor facilitator and a nice kind of 20 points that we can kind of consistently rely on. So we get no Kemba Walker, that's 20 points. We get no Robert Williams. That means that Blake Griffin can go and eat down low and be coveted as, old Blake Griffin, even though he's going to get exposed when he has to go to the next round against the Bucks. Good luck, Blake, because this is your last good game here. So we'll swallow the 12.5 here for the Nets. Nets at home, looking to close out the season so they can get to the Bucks. I mean, the longer they go in the season, the more rest the Bucks have, and a well-rested Giannis and Brook Lopez down low. That's something that the Nets do not want to face. So the Nets are looking to close out as soon as possible. Had a little bit of a hiccup in game number 3. But they're back at home here. Expect this crowd to be rocking and roaring, and they get it done. So we'll swallow the 12 here for the Nets. It's not competitive. If they had Robert Williams and Kemba Walker, I think I would have taken the Celtics plus 12.5. But, they're doubtful. We're not expecting them to play. So it's just there's nothing that we can really cling onto for the Celtics team to get the win. So Nets minus 12.5. Alrighty, next game up is the Nuggets and the Blazers. Series tied 2-2 back in Denver. Blazers plus 2, Nuggets minus 2. Real tight spread here. Everybody's going to go for the Blazers, and for the Nuggets, Will Barton is still out. PJ Dozier is still out. Damn, man. I don't even know if they're ever going to come back, but man, oh man, they definitely need them for that bench. But a real close series here, kind of going back and forth every single game. It's the scoreability of the Blazers. That's what they rely on. Is Carmelo going to give us that 10-plus points off the bench? Is Norman Powell going to give us 20 points with McCollum and Damian Lillard out there? That's really what this Blazers team relies on. But I'm going to take it with the Nuggets here. I'm taking the home team. Nuggets, Jokic down low. Hopefully, this team can kind of make up for that lackluster bench. Hopefully, we need Austin Rivers to have a good game. I mean, that's really what it depends on for this Nuggets team. We need Michael Porter Jr. to get it done as well. He's been real solid. He had a bad game. Like one of these games, I think he only put up like 5 points or something. It was really kind of unacceptable. But that was like a little outlier game for them. So I'm going to take the Nuggets here down low. Jokic gets it done. Facundo Campazzo, I can rely on him in this series, folks. He's real solid out there. So the Blazers, they need to be on scoring, outside shooting. And this Nuggets team, yes, they need to be the outside shooting to be done, but we just need Jokic to go toe-to-toe with Nurkic, and usually he's able to do that. So we'll swallow the 2 here for the Nuggets. Back at home, pivotal game 5 here to go up 3-2. So we're going to count on the Nuggets to get it done. And then the last game of the night, the Lakers and the Suns, and this spread is how it should be, so we respect them, Vegas, for doing this. And once again, kind of tells us that Anthony Davis is probably not good to go. KCP is a game-time decision. Anthony Davis is a game-time decision. I'm expecting Anthony Davis not to play this game. KCP potentially plays, but who cares? Honestly, who cares? The Suns. Chris Paul's a game-time decision, and if he played in Game 4, he's going to play in Game 5 because he looked good in Game 4. So I'm assuming Chris Paul plays. Anthony Davis does not. KCP, I truly do not care if he does. It does not affect my decision. So we're going to take the Suns -5 here. Suns at home. We just heard LeBron try to, starting to temper down the expectations, looking for that kind of exit strategy here. If they lose, he's got the excuse, he's got the bailout. And if they win, he's the king and he's the GOAT and he's the greatest basketball to ever grace planet Earth. Thank you, LeBron. We bow down to LeBron. But the Suns team, it's really just Chris Paul, man. That's really all it comes down to. Is he healthy enough to go to be productive? Because his defense, he can lock up Dennis Schroeder, once again taking away an offensive weapon for the Lakers, and they are very dwindling there in offensive weapons. He's a great floor facilitator, point god. Respect the nickname, folks. CP 3-point god. Respect it. What else we need here is Devin Booker to really kind of score the ball. We need him to put up, honestly, like 25 to 30 points every single game here. He's been a little lackluster this series, shooting the ball, scoring the ball. Lakers defense with AD and LeBron have been able to kind of lock it up decently. So we need Devin Booker to show up. And what was great from last game is Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's a huge piece here, folks. And I don't want to hear any Jay Crowder slander. Oh, he's not hitting the 3 consistently. Okay, it was a little off in a couple of games here. But overall, we can rely on it. And that defense, folks, his defense, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it and I don't care. He's the best defender on the Suns team. Maybe not as better as Chris Paul, but he's up there. He's tied as Chris Paul. He's a great defender down low, and now no Anthony Davis. He can lock up whoever they stick in as that 4th. If Kyle Kuzma's going to play the 4, good luck. Good luck. Well, maybe LeBron slides down to the 4, Kuzma slides up to the 3, whatever their lineup's going to be. Whoever's at the 4, Jay Crowder can lock up, folks. Is it a coincidence that the Heat got to the finals with Jay Crowder and they get swept the first round without him? No, it's not, folks. Give Jay Crowder his due. I'm giving his due. I would bet. I'll take the Suns -5. If nobody else was playing, it was just Jay Crowder versus the starting 5 of the Lakers. I still take the Suns -5. That's how much I believe in Jay Crowder. So give that man his respect. So that's our moneymaker for tonight. Nets -12.5, Nuggets -2, and the Suns -5. Taking the home team, swallowing the points here, and these teams are going to get it done. So, alrighty. That is going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow, live, noon Eastern, as we do it all again. Stories, basketball. We'll try to get to the NFC South tomorrow, we promise. Or maybe we'll just do it quick. Maybe we'll just do it quick tomorrow. Do we even care anymore? Do we care? It's the draft. It's over. It's over, folks. Do y'all care about the grades? I do, a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow on the show. We spent an hour on the stories today. A lot of good stories to talk through. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We're back tomorrow, folks, doing it all again. Go enjoy those 3 games of basketball on today because, like I said, they are going to start dwindling. We're going to get like 2, and it's going to go down to 1. So enjoy. We get no more 4 days, 4 games a day. So enjoy these 3 games a day while they still are here. And, yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we're back tomorrow, folks.